Welcome on back, ladies and gentlemen, to our first segment to kick off this show of Unpopular Opinion. We are going to go into what we have been playing this past week, and let me tell you, it has been a lot. But I'm not going to go over every little thing we played this week because we've done a lot. We got our hands on a lot. Some games that are a bit older in the catalog. Trying to fill out some of our backlog, trying to get some of those games cleared out. I mean, you're talking about somebody who just recently completed God of War, and no, not the first one. I'm talking about Ragnarok. Okay, and that game came out over almost a year ago, and I finally got around to finishing it off. Okay, that's how busy we have been here. That I've got a backlog that's pretty extensive that I'm trying to get through and push through and finish some of this stuff off. And one of the games I am working through is one of the games I'm actually about to talk about right now, and that's Starfield. Now, let me go into this and say I am not going to give you a review of Starfield. I'm not here for that just yet. You're going to have to wait for a future episode of this show to get that under review for Starfield. I've got a long way to go. I'm just going to give you my honest opinion about it from what I've been playing so far of it, and I am not too far in the game. I am only maybe 4 or 5 hours in, maybe a little bit more than that, but roughly about 4 to 5 hours in. And this opinion is going to be based solely on that, my experience thus far. And this will kind of lead into what our second segment is, what really grinds my gears about what I've been seeing about this game. But let me first start off by saying this. I'm a fan of Bethesda. I like Bethesda as a studio. I love some of the people that work there. I met Todd Howard many years ago. Great guy, funny guy to be around. That's for damn sure. I passed that time frame, right? I just want to make sure. Okay, I just wanted to make sure. So I am a fan of Bethesda. I like their games. I like the way that they do their storytelling in some of their games. Now, am I a fan of everything Bethesda does? No, not at all. Do I like a lot of things? Yes, of course I do. I'm a fan of Elder Scrolls, even though I think they did. They kept re-releasing Skyrim way too many times at the point that it just got like another one. GTA is starting to do the same exact thing where they're starting to re-release GTA so many freaking times that now it's to the point it's like, really? Do you really need to re-release it? How many other platforms could you possibly put that game on? I love Fallout, the Fallout series, Fallout 3, Fallout 4. Did not like Fallout 76 at all. I thought that was a major disappointment. It took a while for me to get, or it took a while for Elder Scrolls Online to grow on me. I like it now. I've played it pretty consistently. I haven't played it in a little while. Don't get me wrong. Don't make it sound like it's a game that I plug in and play every single week. I don't. But for a time there, it was a game that I went back to every single night just to kind of get my character further and further and further. I have all the expansions for it. Fallout 76, not so much. So I go into this with that in mind. Starfield is to me is a great game. No, not good. No, just not mediocre, not subpar. A great game. If you are a fan of the older Fallout games, Fallout 3, Fallout 4, you will like Starfield. For the gameplay mechanics, to the way that the story progresses, through the massive amount of missions that you can do, you're going to like Starfield. If you in any way did not like that kind of storytelling, that kind of gameplay, you are not going to like Starfield. Okay? I'm just going to put that out there. If you do, if you are the type of player that is all about exploration, what you can find, what you can craft, any little thing looking crazy. I'm one of those players, okay? I went into Starfield, and my very first mission I was in there, I'm picking up, and you could pick up a lot. Like most everything in that game, you could pick up and stash it in your inventory. I was picking up random things that I had really had no business picking up to begin with. Like, who needs a stapler? I don't know, but I picked it up anyway. I mean, see, some of that stuff that you can sell, you can get some small amount of credits for, but it will fill up your inventory really, really quick. And I found that out the hard way, super fast. The game's inventory system does leave a lot to be desired. And I think a lot of that can be fixed when it comes to the resource system. Because when you go to different planets to explore and you hit the planet level and you start to explore and start mining resources that you're obviously going to have to use to upgrade yourself, your equipment, and your ship. And your ship's going to require some big upgrades as well. Trust me, as you go into the game. It weighs you down heavily, quite considerably. And I think that's part of the problem. Like, if the resources themselves did not have a weight to them, I think it would help out tremendously. It would leave a lot more room for the items that you really need to carry as far as weapons go. Ammo, I don't think has a... You can correct me if I'm wrong. I do not think that the ammo has any weight to it. I really don't. A lot of the other equipment does. Such as like your armor, such as like your... like the different pieces that you find throughout the world. That stuff does have weight to it. The ammo does not. The guns obviously do. But if you add that in with the resources, because the resources get heavy and get heavy quick, especially when you start mining a lot of it, because there's some planets that have those type of resources everywhere. And when you have them everywhere, and you're a completionist, and you're out there doing, you're mining stuff, you're like me, you're hitting everything you see. And those resources do gather and they do pick up weight quite considerably. Now, you can put your resources, which is what I started doing, you can put them into the ship's cargo. Your ship does have a cargo hold. And you can drop all of your resources into that. And the good thing about this is if you go to upgrade either your equipment or your ship from a workbench, and your ship has a workbench on it, and it doesn't even have to be a workbench that's on the ship. It could be one that's out in the world or the planet you're on. It could pull the resources from your cargo or wherever you have your resources stashed. So you don't have to have the resources on your person to be able to use them in the upgrades, which I thought was just that was a great addition, because there's many times I had to go either build something or upgrade something, and I had to sit there thinking in my mind, crap, now I got to go back to my ship. So I got to fast travel back to my ship, then fast travel back to where I was. As long as it's a town that's been unlocked on your map, you can fast travel back to it. But no, you can actually just straight use the equipment that's already on your ship and your cargo as the resources. So you don't have to go back and actually grab them. I thought that was a really sweet addition. The NPCs are pretty lively. There are some bugs with some of the NPCs where you're in like the conversations with them, and you've probably seen some videos on it online. It's actually pretty funny. Like, they won't look in your direction when they're talking to you. I've ran into that a couple times. That's not really a main issue to me at all. The conversations do run smoothly. There are factions in the world that you can join. There are different ways to go about the conversations as well that you can try to persuade. Based on the traits and stuff like that you build for yourself as you level up. And even from your starting class, they give you a pretty good amount of options to choose from as far as your backstory goes during the character creation part of it. What planet did you call home? So when you go back to that particular planet, you already have a rapport with those people. I thought that was pretty cool. So I have run into some of those bugs where the NPCs just like or here's the other funny one I ran into. I am in the middle of a conversation with an NPC, and there's a background NPC that kind of gets in the way, and they're like looking at you as you're in the conversation, like they're like almost like they're stopping to kind of listen to what's going on in the conversation. Those are pretty funny. I think even one of those is even up in one of the videos that we did for the stream for like the early part of Starfield. So just take this in, okay? If you are a fan of Fallout, you're gonna like it. But the biggest caveat to me is going to be for some people is you've got to be like a fan of sci-fi or space exploration. You have to be a fan of something like that. If you're not, if something like that doesn't really, tickle your fancy, you're not going to be too involved with this game, okay? You have to enjoy the worlds of like sci-fi and space fighting, space exploration, space talks, the politics involved up there, because you're not in a post-apocalyptic world. Like, you're not in a post-apocalyptic Earth where things have fallen apart, monsters have kind of come into the world. Now, instead of like the monsters, you're fighting alien species and alien races that you come into contact with as you go on with your space exploration, which kind of offsets that. So, I mean, and I'm a big fan of like space exploration. I love games like Mass Effect. Huge fan of the Mass Effect series. I'm loving Starfield up to this point. Was a big fan of what's that? The other one. Help me out here. No. Damn it. The other one where it's like space exploration where you can explore planet to planet to planet. They really, really fucked up the launch of it. But they really, really rebounded with the updates and kind of flushing out the game to where it was supposed to be. Yes, No Man's Sky. That game. But I have heard, no, I'm not going to do it. I'm going to wait till the second segment when we get to the Grounds by Gear segment. I'm not going to touch on any of that right now. Wait till the next segment. You're going to like it, okay? Just take it from my opinion. You don't have to. I don't give a shit. But I'm just telling you that to me, Starfield is a great game. You just got to be into that genre of game. If you're not, then you don't have to waste your time, okay? And it's not like you're really wasting time. Wasting time, yes. You don't have to really waste money, though. It's on Xbox. It's on Game Pass. You can go download it off of Game Pass and play it. Give it a try. See if you really, really like it or not. And it's not like it's just a demo that's up on Game Pass. The full game. The full game is there. So it's not like Bethesda's saying, hand me your $70 right now. They already have the deal with Microsoft in place. They're already owned by Microsoft. So the game is on Game Pass. Just go download it and play it. You don't have to take my opinion for it. If you don't really want to, you say, look, this fucking guy has no idea what he's talking about. I don't get it. It's whatever. Go try it out for yourself. Be one of those guys that goes out there and try it for himself. Give your own opinion of it. All right. And what else have we been playing this week? It's a game called Under the Waves. Now, for those of you that have no idea what Under the Waves is, let me kind of give you just a brief background of it because, again, I'm maybe only halfway done with this game, so I still got a lot to go. Under the Waves is a very heavily story-driven game. It's an exploration game. Okay? What do I mean by exploration game? It's a game that's going to involve a lot of exploring, finding resources. Hey, like Starfield. It's a lot like finding resources, upgrading certain equipment, building certain equipment, completing tasks, A lot of those tasks that you have to complete are puzzle based related, so you got to solve the puzzle to complete that particular task. Some of the puzzles are quite fucking annoying. Other puzzles are relatively easy. Kind of shifts the difficulty up and down a little bit. I like that. The story is driven by a studio that I have always had a soft spot in my heart for, and that is Quantic Dreams. If you don't know who Quantic Dreams is, they are the studio that is behind games like Detroit for the PlayStation 4, right? Mm-hmm. Heavy Rain that came out on PlayStation 3. Um, what's the other one that's no Heavy Rain was like the origami killer. There was one that came out on PlayStation 2. I can't remember the name off the top of my head, but Indigo Prophecy. There you go. They are the studio behind those story-driven games. Now, this game does not follow that same art style as those other games. Those games followed like a really realistic art style. This game does not follow that realistic art style. This is more of like a, I don't want to say cell shaded, but it does have like that artsy feel to it. So it does have like that artsy feel. The game takes place completely underwater in the ocean. So the crux from what I'm gathering from the story so far, and please take this with the idea that I'm only still halfway through the game. And as you progress day by day in this game, more and more of the story is starting to come to light. And basically, you are playing this engineer who works for this oil company, and I'm guessing it's an oil company because they seem like they're more concerned about oil and making money than they are about their own employees' well-beings. Does that sound like any other companies out there? Probably so. Maybe even one that you're working for right now. You're sitting at their desk thinking to yourself, these fuckers don't care about me. Well, guess what? In this game, Under the Waves, they don't either. He is battling like inner demons, because what I've gathered so far is his daughter has died in a car crash, and he was the driver. And he blames himself for the accident. So he's battling his inner demons of him fighting the fact that he feels that he killed his daughter. He's having nightmares on a nightly basis about his daughter revisiting him and his daughter talking to him wherever he's at. He left his wife to go do this job for this company that you can already tell she hates. He's not too fond either, but he looks at it as a way to escape and get away from having to deal with the pain of the loss of his daughter. And his wife wants him to stay home to help deal with what he's dealing with, because she's hurting as well. I mean, it's her daughter too. She's hurting as well. She wants somebody there to kind of comfort her as well, but she also wants to be there for him, because from what I gather, I don't think she was in the crash. Now, this could change as I get a little bit more further into the game. I don't know. I haven't gotten that far yet. But what I gather is she wants to kind of help him. And the guy that he is talking to while he's on these jobs, where he's at under the water, has an idea of what he's going through as well. And kind of knows the family on that personal level. And is trying to help him ease back some of the burden that he's feeling from the death of his daughter. It's a very complex, in-depth story. I love games like this. I can sit back and play games like this all day. And it's, some of y'all might be like, it's not action oriented enough. It doesn't have enough into it to where it's going to kind of keep my attention. That's fine. This game is only going to gravitate towards certain audiences. I don't think it's for everybody. If you're not used to like kind of like that slow gameplay, monotonous gameplay, it's probably not a game for you. But if you love like the story-driven type of titles, where it's giving you little bit by little bit as you go, instead of because there are some games that'll give you the whole caveat to the story or give you the whole jux of the story right at the beginning, and then they're like, okay, now here, how are you going to deal with it going forward? This game does not do that. It's almost like unraveling the story, just peeling back a corner at a time, day by day. It's only going to give you a little bit. It's only going to give you a little bit, and then a little bit more, and then a little bit more. And then some stuff's gonna happen, like, hey, go out here, and all of a sudden you'll faint, and you'll wake up in this dream world, and then it gives you a little bit more, and gives you a little bit more. See, that's the type of games and storytelling that I like. Me personally, I like, and I can sit there and play those games all day. But again, if that's not in for you, you don't have to. If you want to even know what it is, you can go to our YouTube channel. I've got like maybe 2 or 3 episodes on this game already that are up there. You can go watch the gameplay for yourself. Watch to where I'm currently at. I think I'm on like day 14 or 15 right now. You can go see just how the gameplay is and how the storytelling is for you to kind of make a decision if it's a game that you feel like you want to play. All right, and the last game I want to talk about here real quick, I'm not going to get too deep into this one either, is a game called Crime Boss. We just got the physical copy here in the office not too long ago. Started playing it the day that we got it in. I did not realize, I remember seeing this game showcased at, I want to say the Xbox showcase maybe like a year or 2 ago. And when I saw the cast, I was like, ooh, this game actually has the potential to kind of be pretty good. It looked kind of like that GTA game / maybe Payday in a way, but the cast was like heavy, like the super talented cast. I mean, we're talking about like Chuck Norris as the sheriff. You have what's the actor who plays Machete? I want to say maybe like is it Tony something? He's in there. He's like one of the gang leaders in there. Michael Rooker from The Walking Dead and the Guardians of the Galaxy is in there. He's like one of the gangsters that's out there that works with you. Michael Madsen is the main character that you take control of the entire time. Kim Basinger is like almost like the lady who helps you along. Danny Glover is like kind of like one of the inside police chiefs that kind of helps give you information. Vanilla Ice, I still don't fucking know why Vanilla Ice is in this game. They have him as a rapper / almost like the Hispanic gang leader. Is Vanilla Ice have any Hispanic in him whatsoever at all? Maybe you can look that up while I'm talking. I don't think so. I think he's just, one of the go ninja go rappers. You know what I mean? That's when you think of Vanilla Ice, you think of what? Maybe one or two things. Ice Ice Baby and go ninja go. Right? Am I right? But no, he's one of the leaders of the almost like the Mexican cartel gang in that game. Why? And then they have him labeled as one of the hardcore rappers. When the fuck was Vanilla Ice ever labeled as a hardcore rapper? Go Ninja Go does not fucking qualify, okay? Why he's labeled that, I don't know. He had to have seriously asked for that, because that couldn't have been like their first choice, right? It just couldn't have been. There's not other people that are more fucking qualified for that. And the other thing I'm going to say about this game, because this game is very, very Payday. If you play Payday, play Payday 2, the upcoming Payday 3, I'm sure is going to be much, much better. If you played any of those are 10 times better than what this shit was. This is just small mission-based stuff. Go rob this store, take all the loot, take as much as you can, bring it back and survive. Or Go rob this store, but do it quietly. Don't set off any alarms. If you do, it's okay. Just fight your way through it, but make sure you still get the loot and you'll get out okay. Non-realistic bullshit that this game was. Just the story of this is terrible. The voice acting, to me, was the biggest shocker of it all. You have this all-star cast. I won't even say all-star cast, but a very recognizable and notable cast. And somehow you fuck it up. Their voiceover or the voice cuts, like you can tell where they start and they cut, is god awful. The dialogue is so poorly written. It is awful. And if you don't believe me, go check out our YouTube videos of it. I've got like 3 videos of Crime Boss up on YouTube right now. And in the very first episode, you'll probably hear me laughing so hard at how bad the dialogue is. It really is not great at all. The dialogue is straight boo-boo. It's really not good at all. It's like you have this talent and you just pretty much wasted it. You should have let them. You could have probably had them ad-lib the entire thing and it would have been 10 times better than what we were probably reading off of a fucking sheet of paper. But even aside from that, the gameplay elements themselves, it left a lot to be desired. Now I see why. When this game released digitally months before the physical release did, and nobody was really talking about it, I can kind of see why. I get it. But it was a game I still wanted to play, and when the physical copy came in, I was like, hey, look. And I popped it in, installed, and played it. And now I'm like, yeah, I see. I get it. I can't say much of anything. I get it. The game is trash. I can't do an under review on it just yet because I'm not completed with it yet. But I can tell you right now, it's not going to be a good one. Oh, man. All right. So that's what we've been playing this week. When we come back after this quick musical interlude, we're going to get into segment number 2, which is our Grind My Gear segment. So make sure you stay tuned. So, Maestro, would you mind taking us out with some music, please?